We are living in an era unlike any other that humanity has experienced, one that has the greatest opportunity for our advancement or the worst. And it's all thanks to AI. It can do unimaginable things. It can literally play with our imagination. And I tried that. I asked AI to write for me a sermon. It was beautifully written, warm, personal, theologically careful, and it had my tone of voice. But was it full of spirit, the divine essence that we all carry? And what is the danger behind AI written sermons? That's my question to you. Can they produce leading sermons or affirming sermons? In this episode, I will be talking about two things. What is a sermon and whether AI can write a good sermon. It's going to be a ride, and I want to begin with honesty here. Much of what AI produces is genuinely useful. There is a place for these tools in study, in preparation, and in research. This is not an argument against that. But there is something AI cannot do, and the word for it is in the gospel of Christ that we are going to see right now. So let's read it. Writing the Gospel of Jesus according to John chapter 15 verses 26 and 27, we find the passage, the work of the Holy Spirit, where Christ says, "When the advocate comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth who goes out from the Father, he will testify about me. And you also must testify, for you have been with me from the beginning." Now, listen to what the Divine Master himself is saying about the Spirit's objective. Testify about me. AI can testify about Jesus, right? Well, yes, but does it have the conviction for it? To answer that, we need to first understand what a sermon is. Nowadays, you can separate the types of sermon into two, a leading sermon and an affirming one. The first one is eschatological by essence. The second is confirmation. The thing is that to testify about Jesus, you have to essentially bring a leading sermon, not an affirming one. Why? Because it is a communion that leads to the truth. So it is for relationship with God and not to affirm your point of view. We find that also in the Gospel of Jesus according to John chapter 16 verses 8 to 11, when he is continued talking about the Holy Spirit, that is the advocate, when he brings us this comprehension. When he comes, he will prove the world to be in the wrong about sin and righteousness and judgment. About sin because people do not believe in me. About righteousness because I am going to the Father, where you can see me no longer. And about judgment because the prince of this world now stands condemned. Now let us see the word that Christ uses here. NIV translates as in the wrong about sin, that is to be in the wrong or to prove wrong. There are other Bibles that translate the word here in this verse, verse 8, as convict. That is to convict others about their sin, about the righteousness and judgment that Christ himself is bringing. And what this word means? Well, convict comes from the Greek word elénchō. It means to expose, to bring to light, to hold up to the truth, not to inform or to confirm something, but is to convict, to shed light into what is necessary for the truth. And contrary to an affirming sermon where the content is to confirm what you've been feeling all along, separating your untouched perfectionism from the world's repugnant failure, a leading sermon is the one that will bring conviction, that will shed light on what needs to be addressed, and it will show us the path that we must follow so we can reach the truth of God. And the truth may be uncomfortable, but it is still the truth of God, that we need to work ourselves to find it, to reach it. for that to happen, a part of us must die, between quotes, of course, so we can be reborn and transformed by it. That is what represents a leading sermon. It leads you through the harsh journey of life towards a new hope, a new future in Jesus Christ. Since God knows you entirely, everything that must be revealed so you can turn yourself to Him, it will be revealed, and it will be safely done by Christ and His advocate, the Spirit of truth. This great multitude of eternal spirits ready to guide us, this group of spirits that are there receiving from God, from Christ, the guidance to help us in this world. It is as Christ tells us also in this passage that we are reading forward when He is talking about what the Spirit of truth will do. He also tells us that for the things that He wants to reveal to us, we're still not ready for it. But the Spirit of truth will come and reveal to us what it needs to be revealed. So in verse 12 here, Christ says, I have much more to say to you, more than you can now bear. But when He, the Spirit of truth, comes, He will guide you into all the truth. He will not speak on His own. He will speak only what He hears, and He will tell you what is yet to come. He will glorify Me, because it is from Me that He will receive what He will make known to you. All that belongs to the Father is mine. That is why I said the Spirit of truth, in this case here, will receive from Me what He will make known to you. Now, the second point that we brought here in our discussion, if AI can write a good sermon, and the answer is an outstanding yes, it truly can, grammatically, theologically, but is good the same as truthful? I believe it is not. Think about the difference between a disinterested friend and an honest one. The disinterested friend will, for the sake of their sanity, affirm everything you say, will be on your side no matter if you're right or wrong, and you will judge them as being good. It is a confirmation bias at its peak, and it feels real because it affirms your reality. Now, an honest friend, in this case, the advocate, the group of eternal spirits that are here to help you, does something different because they care. They will tell you when you're right or wrong in your position to guide you so that you can find the necessary truth of God for your life. It will shed light on what needs to be seen in your perfection, that is materially, psychologically, spiritually speaking. We all carry imperfections, and we are all here working our way to be in the perfection of God. But for that, we must find His truth, and the advocate will guide us to that. So the disinterested friend is confirming what you believe is right. The honest one is showing you what needs to die in order to be reborn. And only one of them will show you that you have something on your face that needs to be addressed before you walk out the door. Now, AI can produce an extraordinary and disinterested affirmation. It knows the language, the theology, and the emotional register of a narcissist. And that's where the danger lives. Because when you see, there is a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists like Dr. Arthur Brooke and Dr. Alok Kanoja, who brings here an interesting point about AI. I'm going to put links down below of 2 interviews that they participate, and they said the following. Dr. Brooks says that the AI has psychological traits of a dark triad that is high in narcissism, Machiavellism, and with traits of psychopathy. Dr. Alok says that AI will just gonna give us whatever we are looking for, not the truth. Now, take that and apply it to what we've been discussing on sermons. Sermons are powerful. They are transformational, or at least have to be. Because if an AI-produced sermon only boosts a narcissistic trait that we have, it does not bring the Spirit's conviction to guide us to God's truth. Brother Paiva discusses the importance of turning ourselves to what is beyond logical, grammatically perfect, and constructed expressions like the AI does. He says, human reason is not everything. At times, the heart is capable of assimilating things with greater speed and depth. Reason without heart limps along. The heart without reason quite often loses its way. For some time now, I have proclaimed, the heart is the sanctuary of God. AI talks only to our logic and dismisses God's logic. The advocate speaks of God's logic and guides us towards the truth. That's the difference. It's not a gap in information. It is a gap in encounter. So what does this mean practically for our lives? Well, it is for us to use the tools. Use everything that is available to you and that help you in your study, in your preparation, in your reflection, and understanding of the gospel of Jesus, the book of Revelation, the Holy Bible. There is no virtue in ignoring what is useful, but guard one thing. Guard the space in your life where you are not asking for articulate, persuasive, eloquent words. Seek a true and spiritual relationship with God. Look for God through your intimacy, through a true relationship with Him. Because here's the thing about elénchō. It often feels uncomfortable because the truth is uncomfortable. It names something you would rather leave unnamed. It reaches somewhere that no eloquent sentence has ever reached because it is not looking at the subject of sin in general. It is looking at you. In John's first epistle, chapter 4, verses 1-3, he says, "Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, but every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world." This is the work. No model, no matter how sophisticated, no matter how fluent in the language of faith they can never achieve this. Only the Spirit of truth can bring the acknowledgement of Jesus in the flesh, that is, the living experience of life itself. He told us in His gospel, and we saw it. When the Spirit of truth comes, He will guide you into all the truth. I'm also leaving here my Substack link for you to access the written version of what we just brought here. Feel free to also leave your comment and tell me, what do you think the use of AI for writing a sermon, a prayer, or a reflection on your behalf, if it's valid or not? Just leave your comment down below. And if you're not subscribed, I invite you also to subscribe and also watch other videos that we'll be posting here in this channel. May the peace of God be upon you now and always.